Young cat got back, did a little bit. Now we hardy, buffy, tough, do-rag and Tim's. Kinda hard to get a job back out on the block. Charge that to the game. Young girl, she grew up in a rush. Had it bad, no doubt. She don't know who to trust. Every man she ever loved only wanna crush. Charge that to the game.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Expose Under the Sun. I'm Sharon Dumas. I am your host, and I want to say thank you very much to the hosts that were standing in for me these last 4 to 6 to 8 weeks. You've done a fantastic job, and I truly appreciate you, and I am happy to be back. Today, we have a gentleman, Mr. David Stubbs, and he is the president of the board for the Empowerment Zone Coalition, which is a community group that has been around for 22 years. How are you, sir?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Can you tell us a little bit about your background first?
Uh, I am an accountant. I retired from Wayne County about 9 months ago, but prior to that, I was an accountant doing audits for a private auditing firm and then for the county of Wayne. And that's one of the ways that I met Empowerment Zone Coalition. We did audits for them. And through the context of the audits that we did, through the audits that we performed, I was very impressed with how they operated, how they did business, and how they conducted themselves. And after we concluded doing audits for them, then I just stayed on. And I first stayed on and became part of the board. And then from being part of the board, I became the finance chairman. And then from that point, I was elected as the chair of the board. And it's been a very interesting and a very rewarding experience. And I'm still hanging on after this time. It's been about 12 years that I've been with them.
And who is the executive director and founder?
The executive director and founder is Doreen Turk White. She is our CEO, and she is the executive director.
Oh, okay. And she must be doing a fantastic job for you to stay on the way that you did. I mean, that's great.
Yeah. One of the things that impressed me the most with her was her tenacity. We went from, at one time, maybe 10 or 11 staff, went down to maybe 4, then down to 2, then back up to 4. She never lost a step. You know, she was always right there. She was always the go-getter. She was always the one that brought out the inspiration, and it kept me going. And this was her livelihood. You know, it's been much easier for her to quit and throw up her hands and this type of thing. But we did things that we would have individual fundraisers. We would find ways to raise money in addition to the funds that we got through the grants and things of that sort. And it worked out very well.
So tell us what the coalition does, the Empowerment Zone Coalition.
One of the things, if I could put the coalition in a nutshell, we could use our vision statement, which would say that what we work with is community involvement, getting the community to be involved. That's what the empowerment really means, to involve them, to show them that there are ways, there are methods, there are strategies of things that they can use, that they can utilize, as there are resources available to them to help them solve some of the everyday problems that they feel are helpless. Working with children, working within the school system, working with single parents and things along that sort. And we work with that, and we make sure that we partner ourselves in this point of collaboration to include everyone.
That is wonderful. And I know you specifically work on the east side of Detroit.
That is correct. And our emphasis also, we don't want to forget that our emphasis is prevention of drug abuse and substance abuse, as we call it. Because we've said, like a mathematical equation, the if-then theory. If we can increase prevention, then we can decrease treatment.
Wow, that's a great statement, especially today.
Yes.
There's so much going on with the opiate epidemic, and I've never seen so many people that are on drugs. You know, they're saying that we're losing quite a few every day around the country. Over 20 to 30 people per minute are dying from the opioid epidemic. And I know that some of the young people are taking their parents' drugs as well.
There have been a lot of methodologies and ways to try to prevent the opioid addiction, as they call it. one of the things that we are a part of, we are a part of an organization, worldwide organization called CADCA. CADCA is a coalition of anti-drug, the Community of Anti-Drug Coalition of America. And we just had a symposium a couple of months ago of all of the states, of membership from all of the states around the country. And one of the main focuses was on the opioid addiction and alcohol addiction. So it's not just something that's happening in somebody else's backyard. It's happening all over the country.
It is happening all over the country. Crack has been around a long time as well. So I'm just happy that they're now putting so much money into this opioid addiction problem that we have. I understand there's quite a bit of money that they're actually reaching out and trying to give some treatment to the people.
Yes, and that's what we're saying too, is that yes, there's a lot of money for treatment. We hope they can slide some of that money for treatment over to prevention.
Yes, and that's where it should start, actually,
Yes.
is in prevention. And you go into the schools as well. What do you do when you go into the schools?
Some of the school programs they have, one of the ones that I was involved with was called parenting.
Okay.
You'd be surprised that sometimes the little things you can share with a parent that they aren't aware of, not only from the resource point of view, but one of the other things you can share with them is a fact of experience.
Right.
You know, we've always said that experience is the teacher because you don't really know a thing until you experience it. You could have an idea, you could have an inkling, but you don't really know a thing until you experience. So if I can pass on an experience to you, then it may be a benefit to you that perhaps you won't have to experience it yourself. We use the example where experience is concerned to ask people, when did you realize that that stove was hot?
Right.
Mama told you 1,000 times, hot, hot, hot.
Right.
When did you realize it was hot? When you touched it.
Absolutely.
And that created the experience to know that anything else you're going to do to touch a pot or to mess with the stove, use a pot holder.
Right. Absolutely. Since you worked with parents, and I know that there are a lot of single moms out there, and I know that we're getting ready to go into summer, hopefully soon. We're in spring. Hopefully it won't snow anymore. But what advice would you give to some of those moms out there who don't know what to do with the young men, their boys, as we move into summer?
I think one of the things I can use as an example is to let them know they're not alone. Sometimes they can feel helpless. Sometimes they can be overruled. Sometimes they can feel some parents feel bullied.
Yeah.
The young men grow, and it's like a man in a kid's body.
Right.
But their bodies are big, their facial hair is there, their voice is deep, drop deep, and sometimes parents are afraid of them. But what we're letting you know is that there is hope. There are resources in the city of Detroit. If you can feel that and admit, I need some help. I need someone to be able to help me, to guide me. We don't want to take over. We just want to give you some ideas, some resources, some information, and collaborate with you and others just like you to let you know it's not a hopeless situation. Our kids are not doomed, as sometimes they like to feel that they are, or others would feel they are. They're not doomed. All they need is some direction.
And all the moms needed some help.
That's right.
So can you give your contact information for everyone?
Yes, the Empowerment Zone Coalition. We're located at 5555 Connor in the Samaritan Center. Phone number is area code 313-921-9403.
Now, you have a fundraiser that's coming up that I'm really excited about. Can you tell us a little bit about the fundraiser?
Oh, yeah. We always know that people like to eat. Okay. And what we're doing, we're having an international Taste Fest cuisine. What this does is that we have almost 9 countries now that are going to be represented in this particular event. China, India, Mexico, Sweden, the Bahamas, and a couple of more that I can't remember, plus desserts, cakes, and all of those things that go with a good meal. However, what we want to emphasize, this is a taste fest. Not coming to get you full, not coming that you can take some home. This is a taste fest so that you can go to each one of these countries and taste a cuisine which is indigenous of that country and enjoy yourself. We're going to have a raffle, several raffles during the context of this event. We're going to go from 4 o'clock in the afternoon to 7 o'clock in the evening. And the 4 or 5 raffles we're going to have, they're going to have things like Blu-ray players. There's even a K&G gift card for a wardrobe. They're going to have, dolly trolley. I had to find out what that was too, but a dolly trolley is one of those trolleys that you can use to pull stuff, almost like a basket from the grocery store. Then we're gonna have baskets that they have been donated and given to us that have things like it's called a for sitting at home with a movie. It's a movie box. That's what it is. Where you got popcorn, you got different things to use. Netflix movie box is what it's called. Okay. And different things of that sort. And we look to have a good time. This is our first one, but we don't think it's going to, we don't project it to be our only one, but we're going to have a good time there. You can get your tickets at the door. You can also go to Eventbrite, or you can buy your tickets in advance.
I'm sure you prefer in advance.
Definitely in advance, because we don't want to have to necessarily conduct a lot of business at the door, but we won't turn you down or won't turn you away.
Oh, okay. And it's going to be held?
Saturday, May the 5th, 2018. And it's going to be at the Samaritan Center. That's 5555 Connor.
Is that
in Detroit.
That's in the Carolyn Kilpatrick conference room on the lower level?
That's where it's going to be. It's going to be in the conference room on the left. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So with the Empowerment Zone Coalition, and you've been specific on the east side, what are some of the schools that you've worked in?
At one time, they worked with Finney. Finney was a good project there. I can't think of the other ones right now, but I know I worked with them when they worked in Finney.
Okay.
And they kind of moved over. As a matter of fact, we have a board member that was a product of the Detroit Public School. He was a teacher and an administrator there, and he's really effective in getting into the schools or working to get into the schools to reach the young people.
So do you know the difference now? To me, young people are a little different now. They are more bold to me. They take risks or chances when they shouldn't or don't need to. They're just a little bit different. Do you find that to be working with the Empowerment Zone Coalition?
Oh, definitely. I can look at a difference from even when I first started working with them 10, 12 years ago. There's a difference in their attitudes. There's a difference in their outlooks. There's a difference in the way that they dress, the way they present themselves. And it's not necessarily saying it's bad. It's just different. And I've never thought it's wrong to be different. As a matter of fact, I used to tell young people, dare to be different. Don't be like everyone else. Because what they do, they paint you with a particular brush. If you look like everyone else or act like everyone else, and then there you go. So yeah, I find them as being different. But difference goes to a certain point. Even in the differences that we experience or the differences that we encounter, everybody has a reaching point. I always feel that regardless of what you do or what you say or what you look out for, I can reach you. And in reaching you, it's not a one-way avenue. It's a two-way street. And that's what we have to understand, is it's not just me telling you what you should do, but me listening to you to find out why you do what you do.
Right. I love your optimism. I mean, because a lot of times we think that we should be giving up on our young people when actually we need to pour more into them. And I noticed that on your brochure here, it says Rebuilding the Village, the journey continues. How do you see the journey continuing with the Empowerment Zone Coalition?
One of the adages that goes with building a village, it says one student at a time, or one child at a time, or one youth at a time. To work in that capacity, what it gives us a chance to do is, like I said, find out why you do what you do. We figure a lot of times that we are so quick to judge, we're so quick to condemn, and that's usually the response that young people are looking for. I think a lot of times they're trying to work to express themselves, and maybe in their expression, it's not exactly what we would think because we're older or we don't see things the way that they do. But I think the finding out of the why makes all the difference in the world. So in working with some of these groups, or working with some of these organizations, or working with Rebuilding a Village, what you find out is you give them an opportunity to speak their minds.
Right. listen.
Yes, you listen.
Right. I recall when my parents didn't listen,
Yeah.
you know,
They told you, do
and that
like
was
I
it.
do and not like I say.
Absolutely.
But what we
Absolutely.
find now where the difference prevails is that young people no longer listen to what you say. They watch what you do.
Absolutely.
So if you're going to tell me not to do something, then I don't expect you to do it, or they don't expect you to do it. And
Absolutely.
so what that gives us a advantage to, as parents, as older adults, as citizens, as senior citizens, is be a living example. Don't just do that thing, be that thing.
Absolutely. And we talk about your core values. I
Yeah.
see that your core values. Can you tell us a little bit more about your core values?
Integrity, that's the first one. And the reason that we had emphasized integrity is because of the fact that if we can't be honest with you, then we don't expect you to be honest with us. So if honesty can come across, in other words, honesty can come to a point where I can tell you that the direction that you're taking is not going to have a good outcome. I can tell you from experience. I can tell you from watching other people. I can tell you because perhaps I made the same mistake. So that's the integrity. The other thing is accountability. Become responsible for your actions and not blaming them on someone else. It's so easy to blame your actions or to blame your activities or to blame your mistakes or to blame your falls on someone else. But if you can take responsibility for your actions, that's when you begin to put yourself in the spotlight and take the spotlight off of everyone else. Community, working together, letting you know that you want to improve your status in the community and your standard of living within the community. You know why? Because that's where you live. That's where you pay rent. That's where you lay your head. So that's one of the core values also. Collaboration is a good one because we do not want you to feel that you're working alone or working by yourself. We collaborate with other organizations, with other resources, with other agencies that are out there to give you a good and a healthy outcome. Then the final one is passion, and I had a lot of that
Right.
because of the fact is that no one wants to feel that no one cares. And I think a lot of times we find young people that do things to get attention.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to do this or I'm going to cut up to do this. If it's not to get a laugh in the classroom, it's to get attention so somebody can scold me when I really need to be scolded, but I don't want to be scolded in the way that you scolded me. So compassion is a way of not only looking at what you do, but listening to what you say and then giving you a positive outcome, or as they call positive criticism. Positive criticism offers a solution.
Absolutely. I love your passion.
Thank
You know, if there are any moms out there, you need to make sure that you call the Empowerment Zone Coalition, and you can give the phone number again.
313 921 9403.
Repeat it for me.
313 921 9403.
So, what other initiatives? What are your current initiatives that you have?
Uh, what we're working here is education and advocacy. Education is the key. And a lot of times when people think of education, they think of college. And I have to tell you, that's not necessarily so. Everybody's not college material. However, everybody can do something. There's a saying from an old sage that says, you don't have to be perfect, but you can be useful. And that's the difference. So we advocate education. If it's not in a college room, then find it in a skilled trade. Find it in somewhere that'll give you an opportunity. Everybody can't work through their head, but work with your hands. So that's the education, the advocacy that we serve. We have special projects where we work with families, single parents, and things of that sort too, to give you some insight, give you some operations, give you some information that can help you move along likewise. And then the other thing is that we work with the connections. Find the different connections of different things that can help you in the way that you go. That's why the name is Empowerment Zone. We want to empower you to let you know you can do this with our help or the help of some of the other collaborative agencies that work with us.
And I know you have a walking club as well on Saturdays at the Samaritan Center. because I've been a part of it.
This is what I'm saying. Doreen is always doing something, okay?
I know.
And she's gotten folks together that they go around the Samaritan Center. They walk. They have their iPad. Their what you call those?
Don't ask me.
The little watchy things,
Yeah.
as they call them, where they mark their
Fitbits or
steps. Yeah, the
something?
Fitbits.
Yeah.
They track their steps. They track their heartbeats and different things. And this has been a thing that started with 2 or 3 people, and it has grown and grown because people feel comfortable with it. They get out and they find friends. They find camaraderie with what they do, and then it gets to a point that they look forward to it every Saturday morning.
Absolutely. So if you have a question for Mr. Stubbs, please call the numbers below the screen. Also, Mr. Stubbs, as we move forward in this 21st century, and to me, because young people are exposed to so many things on the internet, what advice could you give parents and myself, especially the women, on how to just kind of hone that in and keep the young people? I mean, they see everything. They see everything on the internet. And those are things that we never had a chance to see.
I think the internet is quite a challenge. That's the one word we could use to describe it. Because like you said, it has so much information. And one of the things people also have to understand, that everything on the internet is not true. People pay to get on the internet just like anything else. But it's a challenge because of the fact that we're finding that the internet and the different agencies of the internet, like Facebook and different things of that sort, are how people communicate now.
Right.
You notice texting has almost replaced writing
And
conversation, because if I can text you, and not to mention the fact that it's dangerous, but texting has replaced regular writing and communication. People no longer write. I would rather text you, and texting has almost come to a point now where it's surpassed talking.
Right.
I can text you rather than talk to you, or I can send you an email rather than front you or confront you along the subject. But as it being a challenge, what we have to look at, and I think, and this is my own personal opinion, is you have to view what's important to you.
Okay.
And then you have to find out why it is important. And what we used to do when I was growing up, and even in the latter years, we would have a list. And a lot of times people might think this is silly, but it's not. We would say, determine what is and what isn't important, and then prioritize. So you will find that when you decide and write down on a piece of paper what things are important to you, and then you begin to prioritize them. Is this really important? And then one of the caveats for asking yourself, is it important? What does it add to your life? What does it have to give me in return? You begin to find out a lot of things that we do, a lot of things that you do, have absolutely nothing to give us in return. So therefore the adage goes, no deposit, no return. I'm not depositing anything and I'm not getting anything in return. But it's a challenge, and it has to work out for the individual, and sometimes it works out an individual in a group session.
Right. I love your passion, absolutely. And because you have so much wisdom, that's why I keep asking these kinds of questions. I'm sure there are moms out there that, a lot of these young people don't have men that they respect in their lives. They have men, but not necessarily those that they respect.
This is true.
And so that's why I wanted to ask you the questions that I am. So as I move forward with these questions, what about with the girls? I'm finding that the girls are committing more crimes than the boys. They're, as the kids say, off the chain. They're a little bit, fast, or whatever we want to call them. So talk to those moms out there, and just, from a man's point of view, what would you tell the young ladies or the moms on how to just kind of settle down on how to deal with those girls?
Well, let me tell you first from experience. I have 4 daughters.
Okay, all right.
Four,
So
and my baby is 32.
Okay.
Okay, so you can believe one thing. I had my challenges. I had my ups and downs. I had my ins and outs, and so did their mothers. But what we found out that we would do, we treat them as individuals. I treated each one of my daughters as an individual, okay, to the point where this one was this way, this one was that way, this one was another way. And therefore, it brought out their individuality. It allowed me to see their individuality and then respond to it. So one of the things I would advocate is treat them individually. Don't just say because your sister messed up that you're going to mess up too. Give her an individual chance, and then you can see what will and what won't work.
That's great. We have a caller. Go ahead, caller.
Hello.
Hi. Go ahead,
Hello.
caller.
I have a question.
Yes.
I'd like to know, first of all, my name is Teresa Lewis, and I am the Community Schools Liaison at East English Village Preparatory Academy. But the information for Empowerment Zone Coalition sounds so useful. How do we get in touch with someone to come out to the school, to talk to the group, or to work in the community, to work in the bar stops and the youth stops, to just come share information?
It is a little hard for me to hear your question. Um, can you turn your television down for us, please?
Okay, so
So
can you
there's
turn it
distraction
down?
behind it.
Okay.
Okay, that's a little better. If you could shorten it up a little bit, and then we can get the question answered for you.
Okay, I just wanted to know, do you already have people assigned that can come out and share the information
Can
for
we
Empowerment Zone Coalition?
can we come out the Empowerment Zone Coalition? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, we can. You can call the number. Would you give the number out again?
313-921-9403.
And the
Okay,
CEO
I
is
will do that.
Doreen.
I also see some information that you have an information meeting this evening at the Meredith Center.
Yes, we're located.
So
They're
I'm going to come
located.
by that so I can talk, so I can ask some more questions.
Okay.
Okay, that's a
All
good
right.
Thank
idea.
you so much.
Thank you so much. Doreen Turk
Have a great
White, thank you, is the executive director.
Yes.
And you can reach her at
313-921-9403.
great. Now, we were talking about daughters.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for calling. We were talking about daughters.
Yes.
And we only have but a few minutes left, but I do want you to tell some of your experiences. And what do we do? These girls are really just
Like I said, I had to treat them as individuals.
okay.
And I'll give you a reason why. When I was growing up, I had a brother and a sister, and they were 3 and 4 years older than me. So my parents made the mistake of saying that if my brother messed up, my sister messed up, I was going to mess up too. So I learned from that experience to treat them as individuals. You may find different characteristics, different attitudes, different personalities, but you can bring those personalities out if you treat them as an individual. Or the biggest thing is sometimes listening. In listening, you don't always have to agree. Okay, and sometimes people talk for an agreement rather than for advice. But listening, you don't always have to agree, but you are being a receptacle to listen.
Right. And I'm sure young people today really need parents to listen. When I think about the suicide rate in just in Wayne County alone, it is so high with our young people. And I believe it comes from not listening to them.
Or feeling that no one knows or no one cares, and these things bottled up inside of them, and they feel that the only outcome is to commit suicide. And that's not the way out, because the problem still hasn't been solved. It has been for that individual. But think about it, how you would feel if someone that you was close to committed suicide and didn't take time to talk to someone about it.
But to feel hopeless at the ages that they are now says that they're missing something. We're missing something in giving our young people what they need today. And that's why I appreciate, you guys in the organization and the things that you do in the schools.
One of the things that goes with the core values is the first point is integrity, where we have to be honest. And as I said earlier, being honest will sometimes let you know that what you're doing, where you're going, where you're heading, is not going to be a good outcome. And if I can be honest with you and not sugarcoat it, okay? Right. If I can be honest with you and tell you through experience of anything else, then that integrity, that relationship, that rapport can become established where you can know that I won't take advantage of you, but I also know you won't take advantage of me also.
Right. So it sounds like respect.
It is. And I think we have a very wide deficit in respect between young people and older people. The young people don't respect you. The older people don't respect the young people. And then we can go with Aretha Franklin's song, say respect is something you have to have on an individual basis. So in looking at the respect or projecting the respect, if I'm going to talk to you, I'm going to respect you, even though I don't agree with you.
Right.
I'm going to respect you anyway.
Right, because we can agree
To disagree. Exactly.
Absolutely. Would you give your contact information again for us?
Empowerment Zone Coalition. Phone number is 313-921-9403.
So as we're about to close, can you give me here the vision of the Empowerment Zone Coalition?
Not only we have a vision statement, and the vision works to the point where this is what we want to see, this is what we want to project, this is what we want to even imagine. There's a part of the scripture that says, where there is no vision, the people perish. So our vision statement says that what we want to do, we want to project a safe, healthy, drug-free community. And that's not a misnomer. That's something that can happen. But it's going to happen when everybody begins to realize that everybody has an input. Everybody's idea is important, and everybody's idea can be built upon. So you may have an idea, and somebody can build upon it. Then you've got a strategy. And from that strategy, you've got an action. From that action, you've got a coalition. With that coalition, you can draw resources, and on and on. And this is how we look at it.
And your mission statement?
Mission statement says basically the same thing. It tells us that the Empowerment Zone Coalition has a 5-point mission statement to raise public awareness. That's the first thing. You need to be aware of what's going on around you. Second thing is to mobilize communities. Let you know that through your own mobilization, there is power. Third thing there says to improve your quality of life. To move along through this, this is what our mission statement will bring to you, and this is what we hope to project.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Again.
Oh, I'm available.
Okay. You've been watching Expose Under the Sun. I'm Sharon Dumas, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
I'm fabulous. Hi, Mommy. Hi, Daddy. I'm fabulous.
Young cat got back, did a little bit. Now we hardy, puffy, tough, do-rag and Tim's. Kinda hard to get a job back out on the block. Charge that to the game. Young girl, she grew up in a rush. Had it bad, no doubt. She don't know who to trust. Every man she ever loved only want to crush. Charge that to the game. But it's all gravy. Hey, baby. Shots get popped, the cops shut down the party. Jeans sag low, blow smoke out of the chest. We got a love for y'all, which y'all don't love us. So it's living us a bird and switch your lanes. Spin up all our dough and chrome things. Yeah. Our kids and funny names. Don't hate on us, we're fabulous. Prepaid sellers for local calls. Yeah. Little dots and demons up at the mall. Said how she was a dime, so naive that she believed every single lie. 17